So a very good morning to all of you. I'm Visak Desai. I'm a member of DSC, and we welcome all the first year students for the for their first DSC session. Many of you might have attended the session earlier, but this would be first of your programming sessions, or I can say development related sessions. So let's begin with it. First of all, you all attended the DSC intro session, so I think you are aware with what DSC stands for and what are the things that we are trying to do in our college community. Apart from this, the reason that we started with the Python programming session was that if you will see in market currently, Python is considered as one of the most easily picked up language, and it is also one of the most versatile languages because it is used in web development, it is used in game development, it is used in GUI development, and so on. And the main use, of course, you might have studied that Python is used in data science and machine learning as well. So the reason behind keeping this session for the first year students was that it do not require any sort of technical knowledge or prerequisite knowledge to learn Python. Anyone can start with Python, and Tapan and Anjali will brief you through every basic aspects of Python. And in future, if you want any more session on Python, then you can inform us, and we will try to keep a session on any field related Python domains like web development or data science or so on. So now Tapan and Anjali will start their presentation. So Tapan and Anjali, you can start now.
Thank you, Isar. So just let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible right now.
Yes, Anjali.
Yes, so good morning, everybody. Hope you all are fit and fine. The motive of today's session is to start learning a new language named Python. Assuming most of the students are from first year and you are not familiar with Python, but let me say this to you frankly that before learning a language, you are supposed to find out how that language is going to help you in future. What are the capabilities of this language? What are the perks of learning something new? You need to know all of it. So about Python, it is one of the fastest growing language, as Visert said. You talk about machine learning, GUI, software development, web development. You can use it everywhere. So Python is a general purpose language, and there are certain frameworks which is available in Python, named Tkinter for GUI, Flask APIs for backend, and so on. So why is it so famous? Java came into picture in 1995 and Python in 1989, which is way ahead. Since the advancement of machine learning, AI, this is the field where researchers don't want to spend more time on learning programming language. So what they did is they went for the easiest programming language available. Now you might think which companies use Python, right? So all these companies you see on the screen use Python. Google, Netflix, Spotify, every company. And even if you belong to a non-programming background, Python is easiest to learn. Now, before starting, there is one more thing you need to know, that Python is an interpreted language. I don't know if you guys know about the difference between compiler and an interpreter, but the major difference in Python and other languages is that when a program is written in Python, every single line is executed and until there is an error. So, and in compiler, it reads the whole program at once and then prints out all the errors together. In here, as in the picture, the reader reads the whole book at once and translate it into another, which is the analogy for compiler. And interpreter is like the language translator between two people who translates every single line to the other person. Now, Before we start, I need to ask everybody that do they have Python installed in their systems? And if not, then I'll show you how to install it. So this is the link we shared earlier, and you have a YouTube video also for the reference. Download it from here, and you can start with it. Now, Tapan will continue with the basics of Python.
Okay, Anjali, you can stop sharing the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Tapan. Let me just share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So when you install Python, can I ask how many of you are joined this session from their computers or PC? Can just tell me or write in the chat box for sure.
Somebody just raised their hand.
Yes, I'm saying that.
Okay.
Okay, so have you installed Python? Okay. So when you install Python in the future, you can install extension of Python in VS Code. Uh, that's that doesn't work actually. You have to install Python in your system, right? Okay. Do one thing. If you have Python, then you can continue with whatever I am doing. And if you're not, then we will obviously share this recording so you can refer it afterwards. Okay. Okay. So we'll start. If you install Python, you will have a software or editor called ideally. Now, what ideally is, it's a Python shell. Now we can write single line programs in here and it will execute. So before starting any of this, I will tell you what Python shell is. Python shell is what do you can say? It's a REPL, like mm, Python shell. What it does is it just takes a single command, single Python argument, and it runs over and over again. Okay, so it will what it will do is read and then evaluate, then print the output based on its evaluation, and then it will ask for the argument again. It will loop. Okay, so before starting any of the programming language, you have to do one mandatory thing, that is print hello world. Now Python has a simple print function like this. Okay. Now in between these brackets you can write anything you want. Like let's see, let's start with hello world. Okay. Now in Python shell, when you have written this one line program, you can hit enter and it will do whatever is written previously. So I wrote print hello world. So what it will do is print hello world. Now this is not ideally used for writing Python programs. We will use Python. We will use a new file. Okay. Here we will write our programs. Like let's say we can here write hello world. you will save it. Uh, you have to save the files before executing it. Now you can run this file either by going here or simply just pressing F5. Okay, so I wrote the Python program in this file, and when I run it, it will the output will be reflected in this shell. Okay, so say now this is just a simple Python printing function print. So we'll talk about concatenating strings. Okay, now several aspects of print function. So what you can do is we can declare a variable. Now a variable is a identifier thing that we can store values in. Okay, so we have a equal to 5, just say. Okay, so a will hold the value of 5. Now if we go and write print a equal to, and now we have to print what the value of a is. So we can simply write comma after the string and write a. This will do is it will print a equal to as it is, and as this a is not in the double quotes, it will print a's value if it is defined like this. Okay. Now so this is a simple variable. Now we can also do things like let's move on with the input function. Now, what if you have to take some values from the users that are executing this program? Okay, there's this function called input. Let's define a variable a equal to input. Now, whatever the user will input, they will write some message like enter a string. Okay, then we'll print this a. Because I have written this print hello world function before it is printing this, and now I have to enter a string. So I will write hello there. I will print hello there because I have written that print a. Yes, you can use online editors if you're not installed Python. Okay. Now there's this concept called concatenation of strings. What this means is when you have two strings, let's say you have a string stored in A and another string stored in B. Okay. Now in Python, you can simply join these strings in order to print it together by using the plus operator. So if I write A plus B, what it will do is take the value of A and then it will add the value of B behind A. Okay, so we'll take an example. We have this input. Let me just remove this. We have this. Yes, Rahul, we will provide you the link to online editor.
Okay, Tapan. So I have just sent a link in chat. Can you just open and show them, like, just let them go to the shell, and so that they can just work along with you.
Yes. because I opened this link that Vishak shared. Okay, so this is how it looks like now. As it written print hello world. Now you can just click on this run button, and in the shell you will have
Okay,
the
so
up.
you can type either on the right side, that is the shell part. So whatever Tapan is showing in shell right now, you can do the same thing in the shell part, that is the right window. And for the program part, whatever the Tapan will write in the .py files, you can write in the left side window. So you can try both of these things out, and it will work for you as well.
Okay, if you have any questions, then you can either unmute yourself or write in the chat box. Okay.
So now we can continue, Tapan.
Yes. Okay, so we have second second variable, right string b. Okay. As I said, we can print both the statements together, either by doing this. Okay, we'll run this. Now it's asking me for string A. I will write hello there, and then write how are you. Okay, so as you can see, first it will print whatever A is holding, and then it will print whatever B is holding. Okay, so I have deliberately left a space in here, so uh, it doesn't print together. Okay, now this thing is any. If you have any questions about this, maybe okay. No. Now moving on, we have operators like plus operator. Now you saw what plus operator will do for strings. Now what about numbers? Like if you have to, print maybe what is one plus one, you have to print that it equals to two. But this will not work in simple default input, because what Python does is Python has several data types. Now Python has default data type as string. So whatever you will give it as an input to A or B, it will take it as a string and not as a number. Okay, so if you take here one, uh, on this, if you take here one and then one, it will not print two, it will print 11 because strings work that way. Now there's a simple concept called typecasting. Okay. So what we will do is change this data type into an integer data type. Okay. For Python, integer is denoted as int. So what we can do is simply go here, write int, and put this whole thing into uh, integer. Now what this will do is it will take the input and as a string, and then it will encounter this integer thing, and it will convert this string input into an integer. Now we'll do the same here. Okay. Now run the program. We have one and one, and now you can see the output will be two because it's converted into numbers. Okay. Now this is a simple concept of typecasting. You can note it down if you want. Okay. So now moving on, we have several different operators called division and modulo. Division operator is written as the slash, simple slash, and modulo operator is presented as percentage symbol. I'll tell you the difference between both of these. If you have prior experience with any other programming language, you will know. But since you are not responding to anything, I will just continue to. Okay. So what we can write here is we can change this to division. Now let's see what happens. So I will take 4 as an input here and 2 as an input here. So ideally, the output should be 2. It's 2.0. Now, why does it take? Why does it input 2.0 and not just 2? Because when we divide this, it will convert it into a float. Because any division will have decimal values. Okay. Now there are data types, as I said. Just POSIX string. Next is integer. There is another data type called float. Float is it will also contain numbers which will have decimal like 3.2 or 3.4, 5.6 like that. Okay. You can, if you want, you can check. Let's see, we show the operation in another variable c equal to a divided by b. Now if we do this and we have a function called type. So with this we can check any uh, the type of any variable. If I run this and I will write for, you can see that the type of a C is known as float. Okay. Now, as we converted string into integer, we can also convert float into an integer. Okay, so we just have to simply just write like C equal to integer of C. What this will do is it knows that C has a float class. Now using this, it will convert it into integer. Now if you write print type, then we convert it to int. And now if you print C, the C, you can see that uh, it's writing 2 and not 2.0 as we saw above. Okay, so this is simple division. Also, let's say we run this program and let's write two numbers which are not divisible by each other. Let's say 15 and we are 2. Now by default, if we remove this typecasting here, for that, to remove the typecasting here, it will print 7.5 and it will be default by default a float in data type. Now if we apply typecasting here, I'm not able to follow this cursor on my screen. Okay, so you can see it will print 7. So when we convert any float type to an integer type, it will simply remove everything that is beyond the decimal point. Okay, so if we have 5.6 and we convert it into integer, it will it will just take 5 as an input and here 3 as an input like that. Okay, this will be integer. So this is what division is. We will move on to modulo now. Now what modulo will do is the division will print the quotient of the division operation. Like we have 4 by 2. So answer will be 2. What modulo will do is it will print the remainder of the division. So uh, let's see, if we have 4 by 2, then we know that 4 is divisible by 2. So the remainder will be 0. Okay. So the program, if we change here to modulo, okay, remove this for a while. Then if we run this, let's write 4 and 2, and see, the remainder is 0. This model function is very useful. We will see in the further in the session. It's just basically used to find out whether a number is divisible by another number or not. Okay. So let's say if we write some numbers that are not divisible by each other. Okay. Run this again. I wrote 15 and I wrote 2. So remainder will be 1. So we know that 15 is not divisible by 2. It's an odd number. So that's the difference between division and mod and integer and float. Uh, Anyone of you, if you have any questions, if you're listening. Hello, I'm audible, right?
Yes, yes.
So can you please go a bit slow? Yes, of course. Karthikeya, where where we stuck, I will repeat it again if you want. Karthikeya.
That's okay. I did till this.
Oh, good. Then okay. We'll go a bit slow. Don't worry about that. Okay, that's it. Anjali, you can continue with your.
Yes, so wait a minute. So my screen is visible, right?
Yes, Anjali, continue.
Yes, so let me start a new file and save it. So, one major thing in Python is comments. So, in comments, like comments are those things which is not visible in your program. It is for the programmer. Like when you share your program or when you share your code to someone else, so they should know what you're reading, like what you're trying to execute. So, there are two types of comment. One is single line comment and other is multi-line comment. So for example, single line comment is written using hash test statement. So, and if I print hello and I save it and run it, you can run it using F5 also, and you can run it using from here also. So it will print hello, but it did not print the first line. That is the comment. Like it is just for the user to share the code between other users, understand the code what you're writing, and this is single line comment. And if you have multi-line comment, like this is a function or this is a program of something and something, then you can use triple quotes for that. this triple quotes is the multi-line comment and the single line comment is this hash. Let me run it and show you again. It will again only print the hello because we kept everything else in the comment. Now, whatever we just saw right now is completely arithmetic calculations. That is addition, subtraction, etc. Now, let's talk about logical calculations. Like logical, of course, means to make your computer think, and for that you need to write or add a few more codes, few more lines of code. And in real world, when you take some decisions, you apply different conditions, right? So, for example, if my friends want to bunk fifth lecture and if my attendance in that particular subject is low, then I need to take a decision whether to bunk and have fun or to make up my attendance. At certain point, we have to decide either we should go on this way or the other way. In the same way, in programming, we can also apply certain conditions. For that, we have a special keyword named if. Let me just open the PPT. Yeah, so there is a special keyword named if. The if statement behaves something like if condition is true, then execute that particular block of code, else it will not. So first of all, we need to understand the syntax, that what is this colon and what is this block of code also, right? So in Python, indentation matters a lot. So basically, indentation is the space you provide for the statements which you want to be considered under the if statement. As soon as you stop giving indentation, you will be out of the if block. So for example, if condition is true, then it will execute the statement 1 and statement 2, then it will come out of the block and execute the statement 3. If the condition is false, then it will not execute statement 1 and true. So let me show you practically. So now if true. Here, true is a keyword. When you use true when you want a certain set of statements to be executed always, and you write if true and write those statements under that block of code. Now, if I now I also have another keyword named false, so you can use it likewise. And now let's continue. If true, I'll print. Hello, and I execute this, then it will print hello, right? So this is the basic use of if. Yeah, if you have any queries, you can just post in the chat. Now, if I print something outside the if loop, it will print it without considering the if. So this both is printed, right? Now, if what if the condition is false? Now it will only print something which is outside the if block, right? So hi is outside the if block, and now it will only print that. Now with the if statements, we also have something called if else statements. So like if else statement is something that you use when you have like other conditions, like if some condition is not true, you want to execute something else. If that is the case, you can use if else statements. I'll just show you without in the PPT. See, the if else statements works like if the condition is true, then it will print statement 1 and statement 2, else it will print statement 3. Here statement 4 and 5 will always print, always execute, I mean. So if else works like this. If something is false, the condition is false, it goes to the body of else. Otherwise, it goes to the body of if. Now let me show you in program. So let's print whether a number is positive or negative. So let me take a variable a equal to 5, and if a is equal, if the a is greater than equal to 0, then I'll print else I'll just print it as a negative number. Now a here is 5, so it will obviously should print this statement. Also, again, I'm telling indentation matters a lot. If you just miss one indentation, I'll show you. If I do it like this, then it will give me an error that expected an indentated block. So 0 and positive number here it is printed. I hope you can see this. Um, Now this is the use of if else statement. Now what if I want to use something like I just not have only one condition, I have multiple conditions. So for that I have if, elif and else. So elif is a short form for else if. I'll just show you from here that how much ever conditions you have, you can add. It behaves like the if statement only. Like if the condition is true, it goes inside, otherwise it doesn't. So if condition is true, then statement 1 and 2 will execute. Otherwise, it goes, if certain condition 2 is true, then it will go to statement 3, else it will go to statement 4, and so on. So you can add multiple conditions using if, elif, and else. I'll show you example of that also. Like for this certain program, if I'll expand it, then I can use elif also. Like I say if a is equal 0, then I just can add an elif. A is greater than 0, and I print positive number. I run it. It gives me an output of positive number, right? So that is about if, else, if, elif, else. Now, one more thing you need to know is that you can combine two or more conditions in the if loop or anywhere, any such statements. Like if a equal to 0, and there is an operator called and or in Python. So if you add and, then a is equal to 0 and a is greater than, sorry, let it mean greater than 0. 0, else it is a negative number. So I'll run it. So the number is 3 and it is greater than 0. So this is something you use when you have to join two or more conditions like a equal to 3 and a greater than 3 and so on. We can also use or operator. So or what it will do is it will check either of these conditions is true. If a equal to 3, then also it will go inside the loop, or else if a is greater than 0, then also it will go inside the loop. So this was about the conditional statements. Like now what we need to learn is range function. So this range function we will use later on in for loops and stuff. So range returns a sequence of numbers. It is an inbuilt function we can use. Functions carry certain parameters, right? So this range function has three, that is start, stop, and step size. So here, if I write 2 comma 10 in this range function, then the start value is 2 and the last value, ending value is 10. What it does is it goes from starting to ending except the last number. So it will just give you the output as 2, 3, 4 up till 9. Okay, now if I add the step size, parameter step size is by default 1. And if you want to jump from certain numbers, then you can add the step size. For example, if I have added 3 over here, then I will add 3 to each numbers, like from the starting 2 plus 3 5 plus 3 8. And when I will do plus 3, then it will go out of the range of this like out of the last number, so it will not print the next number. So the output will be 2 5 and 8. Now I'll show you the example after Tapan will teach you about Python data structures, only the list and tuples right now. So Tapan, you can continue with list and tuples.
All right. Okay. So we have here. I will teach you about lists and tables. Okay. So we'll start with lists here. This is list. Now, what list is? If you have any prior knowledge with other programming languages like C or C++ or Java, those programming languages have a structure, data structures called array. Now, array is not a concept that is used in Python. Python instead we have list. Now, what list is? You can store multiple values of multiple data types into a single data structure. Like, okay, so let's suppose we have a. Sorry, we have to store like say 1, and then another value called 2, and then a string. Let's say we have a string called hello. We can store all of this into one single data structure. Okay. Now to define a list, we enclose the list into square brackets like that. Okay. So define list, we can write a equal to this square brackets, and inside the square brackets, we'll write 1, and then you can separate the elements using a comma. We have 2, and we have a string hello. Then we have let's say another data type. We have 2. We can write 2.5. We can another data type called float. Now all of this will be stored inside a. Okay. Now as Anjali said, we about the range functions. Now talking more about that. Every data structure like this, like list, have indexes. Now what index will do is Suppose this is 1, this is 2, like hello and 2.5. Now we can access these all elements using indexes. Okay. Now, what index means is it's the identity or sort of like an address of an element that is stored in the data structure. Okay. Every data structure will start from an index 0 up till if you have n elements in the data structure, then the index will go to n minus 1. Okay, like that. So we have this list. Now we have to, let's say, suppose you can just either like print A and it will print as it is, like that, or we can access every single element using the square brackets. Let's say using the indexes. Let's say since it starts with 0, so this 1 will have index 0, this will have 1, this will have 2, and this will have 3. Okay, so we write let's suppose a of 2. Okay, so we will get answer as hello because 0, 1, 2, and index 2 we have hello as the element. Okay, now lists, another thing about lists is that lists are mutable. Now what mutable means, it's like uh, sort of like editable. Okay, like if you have defined the list before like this, you can also change certain elements of the list or the whole list as a matter of fact. So we have, if we have to change just one element, like say suppose we have to change the last element, so we have index 3 as the last element, we can write it's any number, let's say 90. Okay, now if we print the whole list after this statement, we will get 90 as the last element because we have changed it. Okay. Now this is a list that I have defined already in the function. If you want the user to input any list, we can do it. Like list will have certain inbuilt functions or parameters of its own. Okay, so first thing will be we use comment, be an append function. Okay, what this will do is it will add the elements that are encounters at the end of the list. Okay, so we have, let's say we choose n equal to 5. We'll take that um, okay, let's say second input from the user. Okay, enter element, and we can define a list above this. We have list one, we have two, like that. Now what if we have written a dot append, and this is the syntax of append method, like that. So we have, if we have a list, then we can start by the list name in the start. Then there is an operator dot, which will define that this list has to be performed with this operation. So append is the operation, and in the brackets we will define the element that we have to append in the list. Okay, like that. Okay, so if we run this, uh, we will have to enter element. Let's say we have an element It's my name. I forgot to print. To print A, doesn't run it again. You can see that the element is added at the end of the list. Now append is the function you can use to add elements at the end of the list. Okay. Now there are certain other functions called, we have clear function. Write a dot clear. What this will do is basically it will remove all the elements. Okay. If you write, even if you write Tapan like that, we'll do this, and if you print a now after this, remove this. To print the list after clear statement there, then it will print an empty statement because it has removed every element from the list. That's the clear function for lists. Then we have another function called count. The name suggests it will count the number of elements and print it. Okay, so we have, let's take another variable, or let's just print it. Print a dot count like that. Okay. Okay, count. Takes will actually one of them. Okay. And see, we don't actually remember every function that is in existence. We have to Google it. Okay. Let's clear. You can take this. You can see this. Okay, like that. We have clear. Then we have this account. So don't have to worry about remembering every statement, every method, every function that is associated with certain data structures. Okay, you can always just you will remember when you use it regularly, like every day. Okay, so what actually count does is it will count the number of specific elements in the uh, list that you have made. Okay, so if I write one, then we'll take it as a string. Okay, there it is. Okay. So we will take it as a string. Now we have one as an integer here. It will not. It will say that you don't have any element one in your list. Okay. We also have, if uh, I'm creating a list, and a random list like 3 or 5 or 1, 9, 6. Now there is a function called sort. Sort is a very good function. When you use the sort function, it will just sort the string out in ascending order. So if we write a dot sort, okay, and then print the, okay, I have to remove this first. Okay, as you can see, it has sorted automatically the list in ascending order. So this is about lists, like we can store multiple data types, multiple elements into a single data structure. And they're mutable. That means we can add elements, remove elements. even after we have declared the list well before starting the program. Now, if we move on to tuples, tuples are immutable. It means uh, once we create the tuple, we cannot edit it any further. We can just um, check it. We can just read it from it. Like we can just read what a particular index of that tuple has as an element, or we can count the elements. That's it. Okay. And the tuples are the difference between list and tuple. While defining it, it will be enclosed in parentheses like that. Okay. So when we create tuples, and we cannot even sort it where we can see it. Now if we try to sort it, it will create an error like that. So object has no attribute sort like that. Okay. Or if we try to change an element, let's say we have index 0, I try to change this element. It will not run because object does not support item assignment, which is basically means that you cannot edit the tuple. Okay, we can only basically only read and wait a minute. Mm, If I want to sort the list in descending order, which function should we use? It's a simple thing. We can use sort function, and as Anjali said, every function has certain parameters. Okay, we have the sort function. Okay, we have to. Okay, we have this key, and then we have reverse. Now, what this will do is, as you can see, example one, like we have sorted elements like A, E, I, O, U. It will also sort your alphabets or any. Okay, if we write like this, reverse equal to true, like that, we can just write like that. Let's say here in function, we will change it to list again, so we can edit it. Right, sort and reverse equal to true, like that. Sorry. Okay. So it will sort it into different descending order like that. It has certain parameters. Now it's not like compulsory that you remember every attribute that a function has. You can always you have. I mean, even I sometimes have to search for some attributes here and there, like I have had to for right now. Okay, every function, like if you go to this site programmers, you can find every function here. Now every function will have certain parameters. Like if you go count, it will have element as a parameter. Now some attributes and some functions are compulsory. Some are optional. Like in the sort function, the reverse parameter is optional. Like by default, it's false, so it will sort in ascending order. If we write specifically reverse equal to true, then it will sorted in the descending order, like that. Okay. So that, do you have any question? Any other questions? Okay. Uh, Ayush, is your query solved?
Yes, I understood.
Okay. Uh, okay, that's we saw about tuples, like that. We try to run this. We get an error that attribute object has no attribute sort. Okay. What we can do is count elements, like say we have three the modules. We can see it, it says it has one element, three. Okay. When I did count operation on lists, it showed zero because we had clear statement beforehand. Okay, so that's why I was saying that it has no elements. Okay, so this is the difference between lists and tuples. We when we define the tuple, we can only read the elements, count the elements, or retrieve the elements from the list from the data structure that we have defined. And list we can do various stuff like that. Okay, so that's it about lists and tuples. Now lists are very useful when we are working with the loops. Okay, then now the loops will be covered by Anjali.
Yes, so basically loops are used when you have to iterate through something. So I'll just show you one thing. So this is the for loop. So before going into loops, let me show you a program for range. So when we want to print a range of 10, so it will consider the last value as 10 and it should give me the output from 0, that is 0 to 9. But what it does is when I run it, it will just print range 0 to 10. Now there is an inbuilt function named list. So what this function takes is like when you do when you have something inside this brackets, so it will convert it completely into list. So what I did here is I converted the range up to 10 into a list, and it was a comment before. Now let me run it again. See, I got the values this much, like up till 9. Now I'll just remove this comments. This was the previous example, like 2 up to 8 will give you output 2 up till 7 because it will not consider the last value. 2 up to 20, skipping 3 in the sequence. So here I skip 3 values, again I skip 3 values up till the last value, right? So this is the usage of range function. Now let me show you for loops. So this is the syntax for loops. For some variable in a sequence. Here we have to pass in the sequence. Usually we pass in the range function because it returns a sequence of numbers, right? And it will go inside the body of for loop. For example, if I want to print, I have pre-written some programs so that I do not waste your time. So if I want to print the sum of all the values up till 10, then I'll use this program. Wait a minute. Here, the range function will go up to 0 to 9. but I need up till 10, right? So I'll change it to 11. And here this is something variable which you can directly use into the body of for loop. Here I have initialized sum as 0. If I do not initialize it as 0, then it will take some random value and do the sum. So here I should get the sum as 55. Yes, the sum is 55, right? The first 10 numbers. Now, what if I want to use list in for loop? We can use list in for loop by iterating over the list, and there is a function named length. So length will calculate the length of the list, that is 3 over here. And if I print I directly, then as Tapan said, it will give you the indexes. So that is 0, 1, and 2. Now, if I print, just a minute. Now, if I want the values, then I'll just print a of I. Then I got the values, certain values, right? So this is a for loop that you can iterate over list, you can iterate over array, you can iterate over uh, like in loops. It will work as in loops. Now, when you study loops, you need to know something about break and continue. So I'll show you. So break and continue, as the name suggests, is simply like you break the loop and you stop it there, and in continue you will continue the loop except that particular value, for that particular value. So I'll show you the program. For I in range 10, that is 0 to 9, if I is 5, then I'll break it. Then let us see the output. So it will print up to 4. So after, like when it reaches to the fifth value, it will not print the loop, like it will not go ahead. And instead of break, if I use continue, and what it does is it will print all the values except for 5. So this is the difference between break and continue. Now, like for in programming, you can use break and continue for some logics and everything. So in basically in for loop, basic for loop is this much, and there is something called for else loop. So I'll show you. Now this for else loop, this is a basic for loop, right? So I'll run it. It will give me output like this. So no items left is here printed, right? So the reason of it being printed is nothing is happening over here, nothing is being broken over here. But if I break it, like if I add the same code, if I equal to 5 and I print, now let us run it. When I run it, the last line, that is no items left, is not printed, right? So for else is used to check whether there is a break or interrupt in the for loop. So if there is no break or interrupt, then it will print the else part. Otherwise, it will not go into the else part. Similarly, there is while loop, and I'll show you. Yeah, while loop is similar to for loop, but it is more or less like while some condition is given, and under that condition you execute some statements, right? So if I equal to 1 and while I is less than 6, then I'll print that particular value and I increment that value. That is for every other uh, loop, it will increment the value from 1 to up till 6. And I run it. then I will get values 1 to 5, right? So the basic difference between while and for loop is that when you have like loop lists and arrays and all, then you can iterate over those using for loop, and for while you can use it for some certain different logic also. For example, and while also has that has this loop named while else loop. So the functionality is the same. Here it will here there is no breakage in the code, so it will print the code. Print, here I is no longer less than 6, right? So it printed the else part, and now if I break here, so it will not print the else part, and it will also break the code from there. So that was about loops, and you can use loops in the program, like for certain logics, for printing patterns, and you will face those pattern problems in future. So you can use for that also. And also one more thing I would like to say is that as a programmer, our best friends should be Google and Stack Overflow. Like as Tapan said, you should not remember every single thing, right? So you can you're free to go and search the methods, the parameters and everything. Now Tapan, you can continue with the FizzBuzz program.
Okay, the phase bus program is a simple algorithm that will use the basically if statements and the modulo operator. Okay, so I will just share my screen right now. What Facebook program? Let me just start by explaining the problem statement here. Okay, so we are taking an input from the user. We are checking it if it is divisible by 3 or 5 or by both. Okay. If the number that the user has input is divisible by 3, then the program will output fills the word fills. If it's divisible by 5, then the program will output buzz the word. And if it is divisible by both the 3 and 5, then it will print fills uh, the whole word. Okay, that's the basic problem statement that we have. Yeah, go ahead and let's see. We have a variable n. We're converting and we need the input in integer. We are inputting value from the users. We write a message and number. Now we will check that if n modulo 3 is equal to 0. Sorry. Now here the program will check if the number, let's say I have input 6 modulo 3. So when a number is divisible by 3, it will have a reminder as 0, so modulo would be 0. So now equal to operator is a comparison operator that whatever is on the left hand side should be equal to right hand side. If it is, then have an output as true. Okay, so let me just write here that is checking divisibility by 3. So if this happens, then it will print word fills. Then we have else if else n modulo 5 will equal to 2, and it will print the word plus. Else, if we write else, let's just break the problem into uh, two parts. We will firstly just check for these two, and we'll later on see the divisibility by both the numbers. Okay. Yes. One more thing in the problem statement is it does not uh, if it does not satisfy any of the condition, it will just simply print the number that the user has input. Okay. Print the number we have is n. Okay. Save this and run this. And see, we have enter number. Let's say I have input 10 as a number. And we'll put output buzz, because 10 is divisible by 5 and we have buzz as an output. Run it again and let's write number 6. Output 6 fills because 6 is divisible by 3 here. What if we enter a number that is divisible by both 3 and 5? Then what will happen? Then both are divisible by 3 and 5 is 15. If I write this, then it will it's only printing fizz as, because when you use elif statement, it will just check one of the two conditions that we have here. Okay, so it took the input 15 here, and it checked that 15 is divisible by 3. Then let's print the statement, and that's done. Now, if I remove this L part and just check both conditions at the same time, then what it will do is, I go to number 15. Then we'll print both the numbers like fizz and buzz after one another, because now we don't have anything like if the statement is not true, then print this and print that. It will go in here 15. You will check that it's divisible by 3. It will print fizz, and then it will move on to next statement. We'll again check that the 15 is divisible by 5 and print buzz. Okay. Now the next statement, so the next part we have, let's input a number that's not divisible by either of them, 7. Then it will print the number 7 itself. Okay. Now let's add this L statement here. But we can use this, and if we have to check the divisible by both the numbers at the same time, we can write if. Okay, so take this condition, put it here, and then we will use the AND operator. We'll take this statement, condition, print it here, and then We'll use this as print whispers. Okay, like that. After that, we'll also convert this one into elif statement because we want this whole block as one else if ladder. Okay, now we'll save this and run this. If I enter number 15, it will it will output face bars. Again, if I run this and I enter number 5, it will just print bus like that. This is a simple face bus program we have. Do you have any queries in this thing or whatever I have written this? Anyone? Okay, so if you don't have any doubts, then this session, I'll conclude this session. Okay. So that was all for this session. If you want any further sessions to be continued, you can write in the chat box. We'll provide you a feedback form right now. Okay. If you have any query from the whole session, please just feel free to write in the chat box.
I would like to mention something that when you start a new programming language, you need practice for that. So we were like you only that क्या एक दो दिन पढ़ लिया फिर next day सब कुछ भूल जाएंगे. So what you need to do is go to Hacker Rank. I'll show you.
Share the screen or I will show it.
Okay, you show it.
Okay. So when you go to Hacker Rank, it's a website. I'll just sign up here, log in here. I'll just log in here. Okay. Okay, so this will, when you sign up for this, they will just ask you several questions. I'm a student, graduate in 2021. Let's go. Okay. Now here there will be several uh, programs in here. Like there's this basic problem solving. Now this is a skill certification. You don't need to worry about it right now. Right now, there is your skills and skills available for practice. Right, like you can see, you can choose like for right now you can choose Python. What this will do is it has several programs like say hello world program, a Python program. Okay, so this will when you start solving these programs, okay, it will take you with through every simple concept from the starting. Okay, so let's say we have like this. You can sort the things out like we have solved and unsolved problem like that. And here cell like problem solving. Now whatever skill set that you will earn from here by solving all of the programs that Python HackerRank has included in here, written here, there will be easy, medium, hard difficulties of questions. Okay, let's just start with the. I'll show you how this works. Okay, What it says is print hello world, or you can easily now this part, problem part, will uh, include the whole problem statement that you have. You have will have input format, you have output format, then it will have also have the sample output. Okay, and then try dark mode. Okay, then you will have this. Now here it has written it's in PyPy 2, and you can choose it to Python 3 like that. And here whatever this is saying hello comma world like that. Write the program in this editor that they have provided, and you can run the code now. We'll check that the sample test case 0 is passed. Now, test cases in this is these kind of websites are very important. Now, whenever you are solving any problem, there will be several test cases. Now, this is a simple program, just print statement, so it has only one test case. There will be many test cases when you go further down this program in here. Okay, now that you know that your program is working, now you can submit the code. Okay, um, okay. So it says that you have solved this challenge. Would you like to challenge your friends? No. No. So it says you have earned 5 points. Now, earning points in this HackerRank website is very useful because it says like you are 30 points away from 1 star. Now, when you earn stars in this website, okay, let's say you have 3 stars in Python, and you mention it in your resume or something, so that the recruiter will know that you have solved uh, Python, you have practiced it. Okay, it's very useful, and it will also little by little, you know, improve your knowledge about Python. Like this is hello world now. If we go with the next challenge, we have a Python if else challenge. Okay, so there will be a task given to you, and you read it, understand it, and then write your program in here. That's the simple thing. You can continue this if you have any doubts in this thing too. You can contact us. Okay. Okay. Anjali, you want to say anything else?
No, no. Is there any query or anything from your side?
I think stop the recording.